heard it is say there this is one of the most consequential media mergers in recent history. So what does Netflix walking away from this deal signal? Valuation concerns or regulatory fear?
I think the primary is valuation. One of the things that was going to happen in this deal is they were going to have to assume $54 million worth of debt. I think only secondarily is the issues regarding regulatory concerns from the DOJ.
Right. And what about the pressure that this puts on Paramount to get a deal done quickly? Are we likely to see something sealed and signed soon?
I think there will be some pressure. One thing that I do want to note is, although there may not be as much regulatory concern based on the political relationships inside Paramount, the states could still potentially scrutinize this deal. So I do think there is an incentive for Paramount to hurry up and sign, seal, and deliver the deal.
So let's talk a little bit about those, political concerns you mentioned there. Paramount Skydance is led by David Ellison, the son of Silicon Valley titan Larry Ellison, who's a close ally of President Donald Trump. So how much do Trump's relationships with key Paramount stakeholders, really factor into the deal making here, do you think?
I think it factors tremendously. The other thing that we're not really addressing, or no one have seen has really addressed, is the fact that President Trump's son-in-law's business is one of the primary funders of this investment deal through the affinity partners. I think one of the things that happens is when you have a key relationship with the President of the United States, it of course is going to encourage those in his cabinet to back off of those things that might otherwise fall under scrutiny by federal departments such as the DOJ and their antitrust department.
So what kind of reaction are you getting in Los Angeles from this deal? I mean, what's the potential outcome in terms of consumer value and the kind of products that we might start to see from this merger, given the political undertones that we're seeing right now?
That's a great question. The streets are always talking. I think primarily the issue is around legacy media companies, whether or not they'll continue to thrive. One of the focuses for Netflix was on the streaming content, right? That's where people are focused. Some people are concerned about the monopoly and whether this is going to have an increased value to the consumer. It's possible there may be less interest in Paramount products in terms of subscription services if they're going to increase significantly. It all depends on what kind of products are being put out for the consumer.
So are you suggesting that the market might be shifting from a battle for subscribers to a consolidation phase where only a few super major, media companies will remain? What does that mean for media companies in the future, do you think?
If you're not willing to have a hybrid model where you're focusing on streaming content that's sort of content based, and you're just focusing on what, many consumers deem to be biased media that's perfectly curated, as a lot of the big houses do, I think a lot of the giants fall down. It's just, a concept that we're going to have to embrace as we see things moving forward. I think a sort of niche market of combining subscription services with content creators that you can add value to your products as opposed to large scale films that are being shot in places is kind of a model that's going away. Unless, of course, you're shooting somewhere in Idaho or South Carolina or Louisiana where there's lower tax brackets for shooting the film in the first place.
Let's talk about jobs in this situation. Often when you see these sort of big mergers, the first thing that happens is job cuts just for, cost cutting strategy. What kind of job losses are we looking at here, do you think?
Principally those who are high-level executives who are not giving out ideas that help the conglomerate, as I call it, continue to make money. I think there will be content cuts to those who are sort of writers, screenwriters, legacy writers who are writing shows. Those are the jobs that are going to go away. Probably some of those who are sort of second line individuals who are in the entertainment industry, some, photographers, some directors, and some of those who operate the video cameras.
We know, of course, that California's Attorney General Rob Bonta is reminding his office that there is still the examination of this merger to get underway. How much scrutiny do you think this deal will actually get? I mean, are we looking at the potential for it to be blocked, or is it likely a done deal?
I think that I could see, AG Bonta putting his eyes and his office on this in a pretty aggressive way. One of the things that people have to consider is that he's going to be up for re-election soon. So will this help him garner a base to say, hey, I'm taking a shot at the Trump administration and those who are backed by him and a deal that they're putting together? It could be an interesting political piece for him to pursue. So that's something that I would look at carefully. Will the deal be done quickly? I don't know, if particularly because the states have the right to scrutinize the deal.
All right, Jamie Wright, we'll have to leave it there. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.